This is the time, and this is the place. And this is FC3 Monkey Business, your one-stop shop for everything geeky. And since everything is geeky, if you love it enough, you never know what you're going to get. Well, if you've been listening all week, then you probably do know what you're going to get. This is one of your hosts, Cherie, and I am going to be bringing you another one of our classic episodes. This is one of my favorites. This was the time when we got to talk to the absolutely amazing women from the Hillywood show. So let's listen to it again and get ready for their new video that's going to be coming out in the next couple of months.
It is that music. It is that time. It's got to be a Wednesday, and Wednesday is podcast day. This is your host. I am Chris, and these are the studios at WFC3. Welcome to Mighty Monkey Business, and we are having ourselves a good time today. This is going to be an exciting day, an absolutely exciting day. This is going to be like one of the coolest interviews we have done yet. YouTube sensations Hillywood will be on the phone with us in very short order. But before that, we're going to do our business, because that's what we do. We do our business, and our sponsor shout-outs of the day to Knox. Was it Craft Cocktails and Comfort Foods?
Yes,
Did I get that right for a change of pace? Awesome. Out of the Village Gate Mall, and their partners in crime over there, Selena's, the best Mexican food in Rochester. A big shout-out to our perennial sponsor, First Print Comics, over on Buffalo Road. I love you guys. You guys have been huge for us, and we will be absolutely thrilled if you consider doing some business with them. Mike and the guys they're knowledgeable, they know their stuff, and they are pure amounts of awesome. And joining the roster of sponsorships, The Great Escape Room over on University. If you have not tried this, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, this is an experience. Get locked in a room for an hour, probably with Jesse, who is just one of the coolest human beings you'll ever meet. Either that or one of the other knowledgeable staff of The Great Escape Room. And you get to solve puzzles to get out. You have 1 hour. And let me tell you, just when you think you've got everything under control, you find out you really, really don't. So
the thing that bothers me is the music counting down and whatever. And it's like, more pressure, more pressure. No,
yeah, seriously.
stop!
You do feel like, we've solved 2 puzzles now. One was with like 10 seconds left on the clock, and one at the buzzer. Right at the buzzer. And both times, I'm like, oh my God,
I'm still trapped in the library.
You're still trapped in the library?
Me and my wife and my family, we did it this past summer when we had some of Susan's relatives, her brother and nephew visiting from New Mexico, and thought it'd be a fun thing to do. And it was a ball. Had my sister and her husband and their kids, and there was a whole group of us, and we're still trapped. So if you see us, say hi.
I will.
We
I
haven't
definitely
done the
will.
library
I know.
yet.
Yeah, library is the one that Tanya and I have not done yet. So we'll go back and we'll get you out of there.
Yeah, we'll go find.
We'll go get you out of there, Billy.
Thank you.
We have a record to keep now, because we're 2 for 2 at the moment.
I'm just looking at Billy's shirt, and it's got Deadpool and comics, and it goes, "I have issues." I love it.
That's me.
All right, so those are our big shout outs. Our perennial. We're going to get into some other perennial. We do this every year so far. We've been doing this for about a month now, Cherie?
Yeah, about
a month.
Well, you're just talking about our perennial sponsor for FC3.
Yeah, there we go. So that word was on the brain. Big Patreon shout out to our beloved Sarah Marvin. And she was our first subscriber, our absolutely first subscriber on Patreon. And so we're very excited to be able to throw her some love, because she has been enormously helpful and amazing for us. Upcoming events. When you hear this particular podcast, it's going to be released on the 13th of December. Yes? This coming Wednesday?
Yep.
Okay. We are coming up on The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi is waking from his nap, finally. The Force Awakens The Last Jedi from his nap. See, I'm serious. That the movie 9 is from his nap. Anyway, that is coming out this weekend. The much-anticipated Last Jedi will be coming out, and we are going to be at the Pittsford Cinema on Sunday, the 17th at noon for the matinee showing there, and we are going to do a Facebook Live review of the movie with maybe you sitting right there with us. Who knows, And if you're into it, give us a call. Let us know. And we're going to be doing a big, huge throwback in January on the 11th. We're doing a Princess Bride screening at the Webster AMC, and that is going to be January 11th at 7 o'clock. So get your tickets. It'd be great if you reserve them ahead of time because we have ticket counts we have to meet, quotas that we have to meet, be able to pull the event off, and we're closing in really fast on that number as we speak.
And we get recliners and things,
and
right?
we're going to get recliners and things, and you're going to get to meet some of the Monkey Business podcast
This is a Thursday
crew.
night, right?
It's a Thursday night. It's the night after my bouncing baby boy's birthday, so we're very excited about that. And then also coming up in January on the 27th from 3 to 9, we are going to be taking part of the Expecto Bar Crawl, which is going to be...
What is that?
Sarah's going to have to give me some enlightenment on this one because this is not for underage kids from what I'm being able to believe.
Well, with the names Bar Crawl.
Yeah, well, there's that. That's the kind of the giveaway.
Have you ever done a bar crawl?
I have never... Well, I've...
Probably 50-some-odd years ago.
Oh, stop. Good Lord. You meanie. But...
I am 3 people away
from
today.
But that's okay.
You don't have that long enough reach.
I'm not DMing today.
I know.
I'm going to be sitting right next to you
I know.
at game night tonight.
I'm afraid.
Yes, you should be.
The Expecto Bar Crawl is a Harry Potter themed
Well, that I
bar
figured.
crawl with drink specialties at
Okay.
each place. And please check. We'll be announcing this soon, and so that you can buy tickets for it.
Sounds good.
Because then we'll know which bars we're crawling to.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And make sure you're reserving your Uber and your designated drivers ahead of time because this is going to get interesting.
Are you going to be?
Are you Ubering that night?
Well, no, because I'm going to be bar crawling that night. I think is what it sounds like.
That's the only Uber I kind of trust. That's the one I know.
This is the one you know. It's better than the devil you know, as it were.
I guess I must be DDing that night.
No, you won't. No, we're gonna find somebody.
Not like Wednesday.
No, because when we went to the Intercom Christmas party, you were fun after 2 margaritas.
It was bad.
All right, so we're gonna do a quick break, and when we come back, Mighty Monkey, the Monkey Business, we are going to bring you Hillywood. And I'm so excited. I can't tell you how nervous I am about this. This is gonna be awesome. So anyway, we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back. An all point in between. As promised, on the phone with us right now will be the Hillywood Show. I can't tell you how excited I am. I'm going to be blundering through this because this is like the biggest interview we've done yet in the year that we've been doing this podcast. But
Alana is giddy in the
Alana's
production
giddy
booth.
she's in the production booth actually dancing at the moment. It's kind of cool. So we got a quick write up here. The Hillywood Show is the brainchild of internet celebrities, comedy sister duo Hilly and Hannah Hindi. Say that 5 times fast, shall we? Each parody features song and dance parodies of blockbuster films such as The Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, along with popular TV shows and celebrities such as Supernatural,
Yay!
Doctor Who, which has been my jam since I was very little. That was actually the first Hillywood video I saw was the Doctor Who one. And I got a huge kick out of that. And Sherlock, the Hillywood Show has been recognized and approved by the cast of Supernatural, BBC America, the cast of Doctor Who, Lady Gaga, Sean Astin, Billy Boyd, Stephen Moffat, Mark Gatiss, MTV, and more. I mean, ladies, you have associated with a ton of people over the years. That has got to be exciting.
Got to hang out with Jared and Jensen.
See, that's it.
I saw that this morning.
That's all they care
I'm
about.
jealous.
So with us now, the Hindi sisters, Hilly and Hannah. Ladies, welcome to Monkey Business. We're so excited to have you here today, in case you couldn't tell already.
Hello, thank you for that. Hello, guys. Magnificent intro. That was very, very nice of you guys.
Oh, thank you. I think I'm a professional sometimes, so I have to act it.
No, that was Cherie.
That was Cherie. Cherie wrote it all. I just kind of read it.
Yeah.
So, like I was saying earlier, since we're the podcast for a comic book convention, and so comic book heroes and superheroes, they have that origin story, and that's what I love to get to. So I want to roll back 11 years to Hillary's Johnny Depp obsession that I noticed when I was doing my research. And how did this happen? How did you guys get into this? What was the spark that made that all come together for you?
We were making movies and plays when we were about 9, or when I was 9 years old. I would make Hannah 14 years old,
like
13 years old. So we were more like the artsy kids on the block. But then when it came to taking it seriously now,
okay,
we had watched Peter Jackson's behind the scenes of The Lord of the Rings. And that was the first time we had ever seen like a 9-hour in-depth look of basically how to make a movie. And we were enamored. We were
obsessed.
awestruck. We were obsessed. And then from then on out, it was like, all right, I think we know how to, like, make movies now, guys. So let's just start making movies, and it really became more serious.
Uh-huh.
And then
we entered contests.
We entered contests, starting with AOL.
Okay.
You guys remember dial-up AOL?
Yeah.
That was my
We're
first
old
account.
enough to remember
We're a
that.
bit older than you.
Yeah. So the dial-up AOL thing, we had AIM, we had email chains, email surveys, but YouTube was non-existent because that was 2005. Rolling around 2006, AOL came out with a contest for its AOL users to enter into basically a contest that was asking teenagers for ideas for a web show.
Okay.
And this went viral. I think they got 100,000 entries. Yes, by mail, not by email.
Oh,
by physical mail.
Snail mail still exists to this day. I just want people to understand that.
And it was videotaped.
Yes, it was video. Oh my gosh! All right.
And so we sent it in, and we came in third place for the contest, which was really cool. For the Hillywood show, it was a really, really weak entry.
Well, no, hang on a second. Now, was it weak compared to what you were capable of then at the time, or weak compared to you comparing what you're doing nowadays? Because I've seen a lot of your work from the early days, and I think for young people who are really kind of getting started, the early episodes were outstanding to watch. They were so imaginative and a lot of fun.
Well, for us, those are the dark days. They're
See, there's hope for us yet. So that's phenomenal.
Yeah. So we came in third place, and I was very, very distraught. But then my parents were like, hey, we'll buy you guys a camcorder, and if you want to keep making movies. I'm like, yeah, but who will watch them? No one's going to watch. I'm going to do it just for my grandma. Then we started getting emails from people that had voted for us saying, I really wanted the Hillywood show to win. We really like this idea. Blah, blah. And there's this new platform called YouTube.
Da-da-da.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is. And they're off and running. That's phenomenal. And now, and ladies, you do pretty much the bulk of the work yourselves, even to this day. I see when I'm rolling through the credits, especially with the Stranger Things that just came out. Your names are prevalent in a lot of the stuff. So you are really hands-on and still intensely involved.
Oh yeah, I mean, pretty much. Oh, I would love more help. Yeah. Honestly, me and Hilly really would. We have a very large team when it comes down to the actual filming of it. Our crew is small. It's maybe only 6 people.
Okay.
Which we call large.
Yeah. But, I mean, there's other people involved, costumers and set designers. But it's not like we say, hey, for example, here's Stranger Things. Now go make the basement. It's
okay.
We're there for the measurements, how tall is the ceiling, what color is that paint, this has these columns in the middle of it, and I think it's this many feet away from the stairs because dimension-wise, this and this. I mean, we are involved in every single step of the way because we don't want to get it wrong for the fans. We really study up on fandoms when we decide to do one, and so, yes, from beginning to end, it can take 4 to 5 months just to do one production.
Okay, I was going to ask about that too. That's cool.
Pre-production can take a month and a half to about 2 months, and then filming really depends, a week maybe, or this last one was almost 2 weeks.
Oh wow!
And then editing and post-production, that's all Hilly.
Okay.
Much. And it's only one person really. And that takes about. I say now it takes about 2 months. That's just me giving Hilly that time because it's also graphics and all the the promotional pictures that come out afterward and behind the scenes and the video diaries and all the stills and posters, and that's all Hilly.
So it's really become kind of this all-encompassing machine now, and so you're very. Oh, where was I going with this thought? I know I had one. So it's not just a weekly. You're banging things out once a week, bang, bang, bang. You've got this whole process that you're following now.
Yeah, I mean. We are very, very much in dire need for some help.
Okay.
Because I think the productions have come to a point where the fans basically expect the production value to be very high. So if we go, Hannah, let's relax for this next one. Let's not really break ourselves for this one. I feel like the fans, won't understand, wait, what happened? Why is it downgraded? We're never trying to outdo ourselves, but we don't want to ever lower the quality and or the vision.
We can appreciate that,
so
yeah.
We're at a point where we're really hoping and praying that somehow, some way, it's like finally our time to kind of get out there for, let's just say, Amazon Prime or Netflix says, hey, you guys are really awesome. We'd like to give you this type of variety show or this type of docu-series.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, your production value is amazing. I do have to say that. I'm a cinematographer, and I love it.
Because it's very, very trying on us now. And, when we were younger, people would work off of donations and be very helpful. But when you're on this 11-year journey, people kind of start going, well, can you pay me a little extra? And because they've been our friends for so long, we are doing that. So that's why it's now longer to raise funds. It's a longer production. And everyone expects higher of us each time. So we're a little worried about that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It is very trying, but we still enjoy it. We're just really hoping that, we can get some extra help on the next one. And it might be a slower process, and maybe people will catch on. But yeah,
Well, I'll tell you this much. As soon as you guys started talking about the fact that you need a little more help, I looked around the studio, and there's 8 of us in here right now. We all raised our hands at the same time. So,
I'm a cinematographer. I'll move there. I've lived in Vegas before.
That's our Dolly. Dolly is she's a cinematographer by trade and by college degree too, right, Doll? And she's been a volunteer for us for about 1.5 years, 2 years, and we understand the evolutionary process. I probably am going to, this is going to be one of those no-brainer questions, but 11 years ago or so, when you really first got started and working on the Hillywood show, did you anticipate where this was going to go? Did you kind of see this coming?
No.
Yeah. See, exactly. And we're in the same place. 4 years ago, we came up with the Flower City Comic-Con, and we figured, okay, we'll just put together a little soiree here. We'll get some guests. We'll do some things. And now here we are 4 years later. We're working on our 3rd convention in June of next year. We've got our podcast. Dolly's come on board. We're going to start working on web series of our own. So we went from a board of 3 to 5 people to now we have an organization of 42. So we're kin here, sisters and I, because we're understanding exactly where your brain is at the moment. We're looking at this abyss, going, "Oh my God, where is this thing going?" And so we can kind of commiserate a little bit with you at this point.
Yeah, and thankfully, we have the fan donations to help with our productions. But it's sad because they have to sit around for 5 months before something is released because it's super hard. It's just the 2 of us. So yeah, it's one of those things that we said, oh, maybe this year, we're not really sure what we're going to do. But every year God opens the door. I remember when we were kind of thinking again, maybe this is our last year, then the Supernatural parody came to be. So it's big things like that where we feel like God's really directing the path and saying, hey, don't give up. This is an opportunity. And it's kind of happened again by the end of this year. We sort of are getting that feeling of, oh, okay, we just got another phone call with something totally beyond, reality that we're okay, well, obviously we're not meant to stop.
Please don't.
I have to say, though, the fact that you say it takes you 5 months to do it, from my standpoint, I appreciate it because it looks like it takes 5 months.
Oh,
Some people don't understand that it's not you walk up with a camera and boom, here's a video and it looks amazing. It takes work, and I appreciate that. Again, as a cinematographer in me, I love it. I was watching your videos this morning and my phone died. And I was like, no, this is so great.
So let me get some of the more basic questions out of the way. Because you probably are asked this 1,000 times, but which one of these children of yours that you've created over the years, which is your favorite?
Oh.
Wow. In stereo.
Well, I mean, they're all our children.
Exactly.
Some favorites. I think I can speak for me and Hilly. Of course, Supernatural was something that we look and go, wow, that was an amazing God blessing, and we definitely say it was, quote, supernatural.
There you go.
So that was something that we were like, you know what, I don't know if that would ever happen for the Hillywood show again, but that's a really good memory one for us where we go, that was fun. I know that we really enjoyed the way Suicide Squad parody came out.
Yeah.
That was a ton of work. I think the hardest one to date for Hillywood.
Okay.
And honestly, right now we really love Stranger Things parody.
Yeah, I think Stranger Things is personally my favorite because, like, when I remember like how much work we put into it, and then watching it, I like without actually Netflix stepping in, I don't know how we could have done any more. Like, if that makes sense, I feel.
No,
like
I'm with you. I'm with you.
If Netflix would have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like we've done so much on our end that I'm actually feel like very accomplished with it, and I feel like, wow, it's true to my vision, like exact vision. Like, I don't know how we could have put the wig hair or the, you know, everything was in place, like in perfect place. So like, I'm like, how could we have? I don't know how much more we could have done
besides getting the actual kids.
And that's next.
Really, really like Stranger Things. That's like my favorite parody.
That's cool. That's cool. And I'll flash back to, like I mentioned it earlier, the Doctor Who one was where my introduction to the two of you was through that one. And Doctor Who, I've been watching that show since I was very, very small. We won't, because
much younger than,
stop.
much more than.
Just
them.
stop, Tanya. Stop right now.
I'm going to throw you under the bus.
But to watch it all unfold, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and I was enjoying. And then you had the big, the cast dance number on the stage, where you had this large group of people and this choreography and all this stuff. I'm like, the energy involved. It was phenomenal to watch. I was like, okay, this is a very professional unit. I was very impressed by that. And then go ahead. I'm sorry.
Was that the first one you saw?
The first one I ever saw of yours was your Doctor Who video.
Yeah, that's the first one I think Osric saw too.
Okay. and
he said basically the same thing. He was like, I was like waiting for kind of like a regular parody video, and all of a sudden, like, you guys were on stage, there was a crane, there was choreography, and I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Like your typical backyard parody makers, and that's when he was like, oh my God, I want in.
Now, was he the one who brought you, this Osric who played Kevin in Supernatural, right?
Okay.
And was he the one who helped facilitate bringing in the cast of Supernatural for that parody?
Yeah, somewhat to a point. I remember Hilly had asked Osric, he said, oh, I really want to be a part of one of your parodies.
Okay.
And he's like, when you do Supernatural, call me. And we were like, is this like a thing now? So we, of course, asked him to play Glenn in the Walking Dead parody first, which he was still super thrilled about. He had a great time. He got to know us. We got to know him. And then after a while, then we decided to do Supernatural, and Hilly called him up and said, hey, we have a role. Do you want to play Sam? And he was like, well, yeah, that would be super fun. And she's like, well, it's more committed. Hey, I also have this idea to include Rob Benedict as Kane. And he was like, oh, I have his email. Let's reach out. So then we just did that, and literally Rob was like, okay.
Oh, my gosh.
And we were like, that's so crazy.
That's amazing.
Hey, what a nice guy. Then, of course, Hilly's mind starts drifting into, let's fly to the moon type of visions where I'm like, okay, Hilly, no, we're going to make a set that looks like the moon. But that's Hilly, and she's like, I want the entire cast possibly to play cameos in this entire video.
I have a lot of faith.
I was like,
Hilly is my spirit animal, is basically
she
it.
is.
Right
she,
now.
Is she your Patronus?
Yeah, my Patronus is Hilly. Because that's what I'm most guilty of. The executive board of FC3 is 5 people. And that one, I'm one of them, and my job is I just go pie in sky. Here's pie in the sky. Let me go out there as far as I possibly can. And the other 4 people, their job is to basically rein me in as much as possible.
Hilly, this is Cherie. As the executive producer of this podcast, the way you saw reaching out to Rob Benedict and the rest of the cast, that was me reaching out to you guys. I'll have you know.
There's a lot of nerves there.
That was my, oh my God, should I do this? Oh my God. And
well, we're nobody.
Oh,
no.
We disagree.
Because as soon as Cherie says we have the Hillywood show as an interview, Alana's in the production booth still cheering right now.
She's still dancing over there.
We're all like, oh my God.
Yeah. No, it went through the whole company like, oh my God, this is going to be the coolest thing ever. Just because it successful or not, in your own mindset, whichever it is, the sheer imagination and the willpower to bring it to fruition, we just have a ton of respect for you guys. It's a lot of fun to watch your work, and we're just thrilled to have you with us on the air today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
With what I was saying with
Go ahead.
Oz was pretty much after Hilly had this idea, she contacted him and said, look, they're going to be in Vegas at a con. This never happens for us. Is there any way, because it would only take 1 minute per person, because it was the vision of, Taylor Swift's video.
Right.
And so he said, you know what? I'm not really the guy to answer that. I need to reach out to Richard Speight. And so he reached out to him. Richard then arranged a phone call with us, and he just pretty much
pitch it to me, girl.
Yeah, he's like, go ahead, pitch it. Richard's so chill, awesome, sweet, open, and Hilly pitched it, and he goes, yeah, well, I'm in. Like nothing.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we were like, oh, okay. And he's like, but what I need to do is I need to send out emails to everybody and kind of just get a list to see who would be interested.
Oh, wow.
We could see what we can do. And within I think a day or two, we had an email of 13 people that had said yes, and one of them was Jensen that he said he was interested.
Oh, that's phenomenal.
We were like, oh my goodness, and it was pretty much Richard.
Yeah, we really. That's why we kind of just say it's a God story, because we had never even met Richard. None of the other cast. I think Jensen's the only one who said I loved your Walking Dead parody when he met us. So somehow Jensen was maybe spying on Osric and saw the Walking Dead parody. But none of the other cast members even knew who we were. So this is bizarre for it to even happen, because now we approach some people and it's no, we're not really sure what the Hillywood show is
which we understand.
But for this to happen, it was it was written into fruition. It was prophesied. It was prophesied. So let it be done. It was there was no avoiding this was actually going to happen sometime in our life, and we're just we owe the cast everything, and the fans accepted us and has welcomed us into the SBN family, and we feel we don't really deserve all the love that we received.
Really by chance, because there were people also that were not on that list, and we were just literally stuck in a room for 4 days. We just sat in a room with a camera and a backdrop, and we would just sit there, and Richard's like, anybody that comes through, you're just lucky enough if they come through. And we were like, okay, and we just sat there for hours, and the first day I think we got 3 people, and they weren't on the list.
Okay.
It was Travis and Tyler and who else? I don't remember. But we were like, oh, awesome. We were just thrilled with 3 people.
The band.
Oh, yeah, the band. Then all of a sudden the band came in.
Yeah.
And we were just like, what is happening? And it was 10 minutes before the last day. And Richard texts us, and he goes, hey, just so you know, I don't think Jared and Jensen are going to make it because their flight leaves, and they're going to have to head out, and they're running behind. And it was 10 minutes before the con ended. So we had gotten, of course, Misha and everybody else, and we were just thrilled. So we were like, well, that's fine. We were like, that's okay. And I think 3 minutes before doors closed, here comes Richard into the room with the 2, of course, giant men compared to us. Between them, and he just looked at us and he's like, girls, Jared and Jensen. And we were like, yay! We were all professional. We were like, all right, nice to meet you. All right, guys, so let's make this quick. And then, when they left, of course, we were like,
on the floor.
We were not freaking out for us. We were freaking out because we knew it was going to be for the fans, that they were going to freak out.
Okay.
That's awesome.
That is outstanding.
And
wow.
yes, I did freak out when I saw Jensen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yes.
I think we probably all did.
More so for Jared for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Jared. I'm the same size if Jared spent 20 years sitting on a couch doing nothing.
You're not.
I am in terrible shape compared to Jared Padalecki. But I'm the same height and I have the same relative hair, but that's about it. So yeah, I flail my arms around a lot like he does. Anyway, now that was awesome. I mean, that's just because I remember watching the Supernatural video, and then as the dances at the end in the White Room, that starts unfolding, and you're watching more and more familiar faces from the show popping in. It's like,
you're
wait
like,
a second.
oh my God,
this is it. Oh, they got the wow. Oh, and there's Misha. Awesome. There's me. And then it's like, then you see Jensen pop up. It's like, oh wow. That takes a whole new level now. It's like, oh my gosh. And then there's Jared. It's like, they got them all. They got everybody. That's fantastic. So it was so huge to watch that video. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Now, were there any videos that you had the idea, you had the skeletal structure of it, you're like, okay, this is great, this is going to be, and you're watching the momentum, and then you just had to scrap it? Is there something that you've kind of it didn't quite fit, didn't quite work?
No, there's some we've had to wait on. We scratched it. It was I think Sherlock.
We did scratch one. We had an idea for Into the Woods.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and since then we've scratched it because we feel like it's too old of a film, and we're not sure how fans would respond to it. But it was such a good idea.
I'd watch that.
Yeah, seriously.
No, we don't watch it.
Yeah, it was such a good idea, but I wasn't, it's one of those things where we have to kind of make the right decision because we don't have enough funds to just say, hey, we're just going to do 3 parodies in, the next 2 months. It's like we can't work like that. So our parody decision-making is, like, detrimental for, like, the year.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, that one had to be scratched. Maybe someday if we have a variety show, we can revisit it because it's a really good idea. But we can't do it now.
And you got to work with what's trending too. So you got to make sure that you're being topical as well as.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Is it's the fan funding. If we had more funds, there's like we have ideas for example, Back to the Future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like massive ideas that
Indiana Jones.
people love. Indiana
I like
Jones.
that one.
Oh, I love that one. But the problem is, it's where you put it out and say, "Hey guys, we're doing Indiana Jones," and then it's like, I wanted a Marvel, and it's like, oh. Yeah. Until we get more funds, then we could probably do a lot more epic throwbacks.
It was a bit dicey for us even to do Hocus Pocus parody.
Oh, wow.
Like, that was a little bit harder to raise funds on, and I know there's like a huge cult following behind it, me included, but it was one of the hard ones for us to really find our feet and raise money and be able to make the production. So we've kind of learned from that one, like, it's doing great online, but it was very hard pre-production because there wasn't enough awareness for the project.
I see. Okay.
That's my favorite word, pre-production.
All right, and the Hocus Pocus parody has had 2.7 million views as of just this past
Friday.
This past Friday. So that's still pretty impressive.
No, it's great. Like I said, it had a great online debut, but the pre-production was very slow.
It's very okay. Gotcha.
It really went into the red.
Wow.
So
okay.
that one wasn't, and then afterwards we had to wait on our Patreon for it to recoup.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what we mean by that.
Gotcha. I understand.
Who does your choreography, if you don't mind me asking?
Me and Hilly have pretty much always been the choreographers behind it, but for like Sherlock parody, that one was such a huge undertaking. I mean, as you could tell.
One day to back.
We had another choreographer. His name is Matt Guerrero, and he has been in, I think, 11 or 13 of our productions as background dancer. He was one of the dwarves, but he's a choreographer. And I remember for Sherlock, we were like, look, dude, we're freaking going to London.
We're busy.
We're busy. I need you we're busy. I need you to choreograph for me. I'll pay you. So he's like, okay, cool. And I swear to God, I think me and Hilly practiced it like twice.
Yeah, once in the studio, like all like hardcore, and then we were in the hotel room, like we haven't practiced it. And we were going to the pool tomorrow.
The next day.
Yeah, and we just stood in front of the mirror and did it like really sloppy, and then all
of a sudden the camera got there, and we were like, go!
Yeah, it looked great. Like I love the choreography on the stairwells in the Sherlock one.
Oh yeah,
coming down the stairs. That was an awesome shot. I loved it.
The pool was the killer. We were like, oh my God, because that was, I think, one of the hardest choreos we've done, because we didn't choreograph it. It's like when someone throws something at you that's not really your style, and you're like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our
little butts were a little tight in those scenes because we were like, oh God, don't mess up. Don't fall into the pool.
No, you looked clean. You looked really clean.
Yeah.
I'm also into dancing, so.
Dolly is our polymath. She's into everything. She's our Renaissance woman. Now, the aforementioned Alana, who you've heard us mention on a couple of times, is actually Cherie's daughter, and she will not allow me to go any further in this interview without asking this particular question. What happened to the Dark Knight video?
The Dark Knight video is still on our YouTube channel. We just were experiencing some like pixels and things like that, and that happened with our Walking Dead one. And YouTube actually re-rendered the Walking Dead one.
Oh, okay.
It got it was fine, it cleared it up, but for whatever reason why the Dark Knight, there's something wrong with it where it just won't clear up, and it looks like it's being filmed on a potato.
That's the best description ever.
Yeah, we just we like to put out the best of the best, so until that's fixed, I'm not going to put that back up, on our channel. We're trying to find some other avenue, we might just re-upload it, but we don't want to lose those views. So that's why it's just kind of been in hibernation, and it's been very hard to get a hold of YouTube, especially now since we're not with like a YouTube partner.
Okay.
or correction, we are a YouTube partner. We just don't have an MCN behind us.
Okay.
Yeah, so not like full screen or maker. That's why we're on Patreon. Until that's fixed, hopefully it'll go back up.
All right. See, you feel better about that, Alana? Now you know. She's giving me the thumbs up. She's good to go. Okay. Now, are you going to be doing more director's commentaries when you do future videos?
Oh, Lord. I mean, maybe. Things where,
commentary our old episodes. We would rip ourselves to shreds. The whole time I'd be like, ew, my face, ew, my face.
Oh, the director's commentary for the Twilight video, I have watched it like 5 times. It's so much fun to watch, and I am someone who really, really loves director's commentary. So this was my question, and I'm really hoping you guys do more because it was so much fun to hear more about that, especially the videos that you didn't do as much behind the scenes with.
Yeah, we actually do have behind the scenes from like everything, but they were all shot on like VHS. So
yeah, the early Twilight ones.
They were digital.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to see what our schedule allows in the future. Because literally, once we say, for example, hey guys, we're raising funds for the next parody, and we say we're in pre-production, we're done. There is like no time for anything
and then we
extra.
start touring, and then once the touring hits, then it's very hard to kind of
We haven't even put out some of our tour videos.
I know. I've missed all of 2016.
But it's just so consuming, and we want to put out more stuff. Maybe we can.
We wanted to do like a gaming channel, if possible. Hopefully, maybe director's commentary. Because we might get really, really busy by the end of this year, and we'll have to say, okay, well,
You mean next year?
Yeah, no, sorry, by the end of next year.
Oh, like by the end of this year, I'm like, we're already at the end.
So you understand what I mean. Like, we just have to game plan ourselves out. Right. But can I ask you guys, what's another production that you guys would like to see for Hillywood? Would you like us to revisit something we've done before? Would you like us to, tackle something completely new? What are your thoughts?
Well, I'll tell you, like I said, I've been a Doctor Who fan since I was very, very, very little. And so when you did that was very awesome. But with the way that the show changes, I think you'd be able to revisit it and get a different kind of take if you would, like, because you were around David Tennant's Doctor, maybe pick another one. But the first thought that popped in my head when you first asked that question is, I don't see Star Trek on your list yet.
I know, or Star Wars.
Or Star Wars.
Star Wars
so
would be great.
I think those would be like our recommendations at this point.
Well, unfortunately, Star Trek, Paramount, I think, released it last year. I think 2 years ago, they put out this big no-no. Big no-no.
Oh, right, yeah, because the whole
like
Axanar thing. Yeah, the whole Axanar thing going on there. That that clears that up.
Was like horrible. It's like if you're going to make a costume on video, it has to be our merchandise. If you're going to use like our name, you have to say like Star Trek, a something fan movement parody. Like it was just like way too complicated. We were like,
too many rules and regulations, I guess.
Yeah, and that's weird.
We had an idea.
But
unfortunately, we're just not even going to go there.
Unfortunately, we were like, okay, well, that's that, and I don't really mind because I didn't want to play a boy, a certain Vulcan. Yeah, but Star Wars, we do have an idea. We actually have like 3 ideas, and we don't know which one to do.
But
each one is hard.
Expensive.
So expensive. And I'm very, very nervous because, like, I'm a fan of Star Wars, and my uncle's a fan of Star Wars, and my best friend's a fan of Star Wars, and our camera operator's a fan of Star Wars, and I just feel like I hear, like, what they have to say about the movies and stuff, and I'm like, oh, my God, like, this fandom, if you get it wrong, you're done. Yeah. So, like, super duper nervous, and that's one thing I've been very hesitant for. I know you guys are like, well, you're Hillywood, you can do anything. It's like,
no, not necessarily.
It's my little mind. I have to trust like my own thoughts. That's a bit scary. So
I think you guys do a good Riverdale.
Trust my own thoughts.
Like I just have to kind of juggle these 3 ideas, and if there is an opportunity, then we'll run with it. But right now, we're just very, very hesitant.
But I mean, the idea for Star Wars is there. I just honestly don't know.
Right.
What to do about that right now.
It really scares us.
Yeah, well, and I can respect that easily.
Well, I don't think you should let it worry you so much. I mean, look at how much George Lucas screwed things up, and people still like him.
Well, we can. That's a discussion for another podcast, Cherie.
We're not going to drag the Hillywood sisters into that.
We've had that debate.
I'll make the parody all about Jar Jar Binks just for you.
There you go. That would be the best.
I love these two. I really do. Oh, man. Now,
I'm thinking maybe like one of the CW shows or like Arrowverse or Flash or
like
Riverdale or something like that.
The Betty Veronica thing would be cool.
All right. Well, that's more doable.
See? I'm thinking budget-wise, too. It's harder to get licenses for DC and stuff.
Yeah, definitely like the Marvel and the DC would be harder.
Yeah. The whole Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. thing.
They're in space right now.
Are they I lost track around
Spoilers.
Ghost Rider.
Spoilers.
So we'll
They're
let that go.
3 episodes in. Don't give me spoilers.
Are there topics, you're hesitant because being Star Wars fans, you're hesitant because you want to make sure you get it right. But are there topics that you're just like, no, that's just not, no, we don't even want to think about that particular thing?
Pretty much, I think the one that scared us off the most is Star Wars.
Really?
That's
Okay.
what I think kept us away. I mean, there's super fun ideas behind it, but then you sit there and
Super Hulock.
Super Hula. Oh, the combo.
That one.
The ultimate fandom merger.
My catnip.
We love the idea. I know this one would go well with the fans, but it's physically impossible without Universal Studios helping us. It's physically impossible. It would take us 2 years production, and our fans would probably be like, "Whatever happened to Hillywood?" So yeah, unfortunately, that's one of those ones where I can just daydream. And that's about as far as that goes.
And now earlier you mentioned touring. Is that something you guys do a lot now? Do you go to conventions and stuff like that?
Yeah, we make convention appearances from London to New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
To Canada, to the United States, of course, the United States.
I think they were in Germany last year.
Honestly, the only way we're able to do that is if fans email a convention and say, hey, I want to see the Hillywood show in London. Please get the Hillywood show here. And what happens is because the conventions are more familiar with, movie stars. They're not familiar with, the YouTube world and internet. So when our fans started attacking Salt Lake City Comic Con, they were like, "Whoa, who are these girls?" And ever since they've had us back every single year, it's been a blessing for us because that's the only way we're able to get to places. So when fans write us and they're like, "Why you no like my city? Why you no like my country?" And it's because we're not invited to your country or your city or your state. If you want us in your state. Right? Reach out to Rhode Island Comic Con, reach out to Texas Comic Con, and hopefully they'll invite us because we have no reservations where we go. It just doesn't matter being invited.
Well, here is your official invite.
Yes, we'd love to have you in Rochester, New York, and join us for Flower City Comic Con. I mean, if you can't make it this year, we'll definitely keep in touch with you to have you on board because we would just love to have you in town.
Because 2 of us are the board members, and we can do that.
Yeah.
We can actually do the invites.
We can make these kind of decisions on the fly and say, yes, we would love to have you on board with us.
Well, that would be awesome. We would love to be there. We have a lot of fans on the East Coast that we never get to. So we would really, really appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
You are very welcome. So, when we're offline down the road and either later today or tomorrow, we'll start getting that conversation going so we can see about whether we can get you out here to join us. Coming up soon. That's awesome. I'm gonna wrap it up at this point because I know you have things to do and we don't want to keep you from them. And because family is all important. And it has been absolutely wonderful chatting with the 2 of you today. And I really appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you very much, guys. It was lovely speaking with you too.
And hopefully we're going to see. Maybe we'll get you on the podcast again sometime. You can tell us about some of the things you're up to. So we do a little check in with Hillywood. And so on behalf of everybody here in the studio, yet again, thank you, ladies. And this has been Monkey Business with Hillywood, Hannah and Hilly Hindi. Again, I have to say that 5 times fast. Just get used to that. And we are a product of the Mighty Monkey Corporation, purveyors and producers of the Flower City Comic Con. Coming at you June 9th and 10th of 2018 at the Floriano Rochester Riverside Convention Center. Follow us on Facebook, love us on Facebook, like us everywhere else, and we will see you next week.
Have a nice holiday.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much.